Hi, today we will discuss a very interesting topic, that is the what is the role of a customer in service delivery process, or how the customer is going to determine the service performance. Unlike product, product which is cannot be simultaneously produced and consumed, but if you will see the services are have a very unique characteristic that it has to be consumed and produced simultaneously. You cannot separate the service provider and the service recipient. And many a time, a customer creates the service on their own, and thus they themselves are responsible for their satisfaction. Therefore, in services, the customer are also known as the co-producer. They are known as the co-producer, means they help to the kind of services that is going to be produced is also a responsibility of the customer. They have to play a active role as far as the service production is concerned. Therefore, this is very important to understand how a customer contribute to the effective delivery of services and their own satisfaction. So let us understand this role of customer in service delivery. If you see what are the importance of this customer in the service delivery, the number one is that the customer receiving the services. It is the customer who receive the services, and it is a fellow customer. Means when you as a customer, you are a satisfied one, you will become a positive word of mouth. You will become a kind of a brand ambassador to the organization, and then later on, your experience is going to attract other people. But it is very important to understand that it is not so that everywhere the role of a customer is same. Their role varies. It depends on the kind of services we have. Their involvement is different because some services require less participation, some require a moderate participation, and some services require a very high level of participation from the customer. In some services, customer is partly required or less involvement is required. In some of the services, and my dear student, please keep on thinking about and making the list of the services where you feel that as a customer, your involvement is very limited. You have a very limited involvement. There are certain class of services where you find that you have to improve, you have to increase your role into it. There is a moderate role, and somewhere you will find that some services that it has a high degree of involvement, without which the services cannot be delivered, a service rather cannot be created. Right, just keep jotting down these points and just have these services in your mind. Fine. So then you will come to know. I'm just naming some of the service. Let's say there is a hair cutting, there may be some sort of counseling, there may be some traveling, there may be some gardening process, repair and maintenance. So just think that getting education. Fine. So if you see that what are the involvement of a customer and service creation and service delivery, so it has a three major category. The one is known as the low, where consumer presence required during the service delivery only. In case of moderate, the service customer input is required for service creation. See how we are rating is the from low, moderate, and high. In case of a low where your presence is only required in order to deliver the services. Means without your presence, the service cannot be delivered, though it can be created. Service can be created, but your presence is only required during the service delivery. In case of moderate involvement, your inputs are required when you want to create the services. Means without your inputs, the services cannot be created. In the third one is the customer co-create the service product. Means there is a high involvement is required. Just have a look on it. What are the situation in which low involvement, moderate involvement, and high involvement works? When your product are standardized, where service is provided regardless of any individual purchase, whosoever is going to purchase, it will remain the same. That is the standardized product. Payment may be the only required customer input. So how the service can be delivered to you? It is only your requirement is to make the payment. If you see the some end consumer example, when it is related to consumer, airline travel, your motel stay, and fast food restaurant. This is what is your only involvement. You have to be there when the service is being delivered, and you have to make the payment. For example, you book a food. So when you book a food, you make a payment, and so whosoever is going to purchase it is hardly matters. The service is moreover standardized. Now, if you talk about the business to business services, that is the uniform cleaning service, pest control, interior greenery maintenance services, etc. So they have a standard service. So nothing can be done on it. Fine. No more customization is required because everything is standardized. If you talk about the second category, that is the moderate, means where inputs are required for service creation. It is the client inputs in terms of information, some material you have to give in order to customize the standard services. There is a provision of service required when customer purchases. Customer inputs are necessary for an educate outcome, but the service firm provide the services. Means they can provide the services, but if you want to get the services outcome as per your expectation, then you have to give your input. The best example is when you go to salon for your hair grooming or hair cutting, then it may be possible that you just go and then the hairdresser will cut according to his experience and his the latest trend. But anything that you want to special, if you want different, then you have to give your input. Then there may be annual physical exam, full service restaurant where you can get your cuisine customized, then your involvement is required. The kind of ingredient you will want, the kind you want the chef to be cook the particular food, all will be created when you will be giving your own inputs. So if a agency created advertisement campaign where you give the size of the advertisement, the color, the content, the message, where the what is the timing of that particular advertisement, payroll service, freight transportation, then you do a number of negotiation about the weight and the size of the dimension of the package, etc. And there is a high customer involvement. It's mean here the customer act as a co-creator in the service product, and every time a unique services are produced. Here, active client participation is very much required in order to deliver a customized services. Services cannot be created apart from the customer purchase and active participation. Means you have to purchase your services and you have to have a active participation. Then only the services can be created. Customer inputs are mandatory and co-create the outcome. Example, marriage counseling, your personal training, weight reduction program. If you have some major illness or surgery, and for this, your active participation is very much required, be it the diagnostic processes, be some treatment or surgery that has to be done on you. Without your support, it cannot be done. Management consulting, executive management seminar, installation of computer network, etc. So these are the some example which will make you understand where there is a low involvement, where is the moderate involvement, and where the high involvement is required. Now, after this, just understand what is the role. So, under this topic, we will understand the three major role played by the customer in service, co-creation, and its delivery. In case of service, customer act as a productive resources, contribution to service quality and satisfaction, and the third role they play is they play as a competitor. So let us understand these three important roles. So what is the meaning that customer as a productive resources? If you see that customer input can affect the organization productivity through both the quality of what they contribute and the resulting quality and the quantity of output generated. If you see that, if you have the best people, because customer is the best people who understand their own need. Other than customer, nobody else can understand their need. So their participant in service can undoubtedly generate better result and service output. Therefore, customer involvement can improve the service in both quality as well as in quantity. So it is very important that we have to understand the need from the customer, generate the prototype and getting it verified by the customer end. When customer find it suitable, it is meeting his requirement and standard, then only we should create the services. Fine. Therefore, it's very important. For example, let us take an example. Suppose the McDonald introduced the concept of self-service in India, SST. They made their customer to co-create the service by placing order at the counter and carrying their food to their table on their own. Here, customers are acting as a productive resource for the McDonald and helping to manage their service well. So I hope it is clear to you how, as a customer, we play a very important role of productive resource for the organization. So considering this example of McDonald's, so in McDonald's, we are not only a customer, but we are also as a productive resource. It is we who are going to make the order. It is we who are going to take our order or the item to the respective table. We have to have it and we have to put the our tray on a bin also. So this is how it is our role that is going to decide their service quality. The second one is they contribute to the service quality and the satisfaction. Effective customer participation can increase the likelihood that needs are met and that the benefit of customer seek are actually attained. If you see that, an important aspect for any service provider is to understand their customer need, create their service, and deliver them accordingly. So what are the three main steps? Understanding need, creating the service, and delivering. Right? And some of the service provider need customer participation and involvement to understand their need, define their role, and deliver service effectively. And customer participation increase the likelihood, their chances will increase that their needs are met and the benefit that customer is seeking are delivered. Just take an example. In case of education, the effectiveness of teaching depends not only how the teacher is teaching, but it also depends upon the active participation of a student in the teaching environment. It's the students' involvement, their participation, and their zeal to learn can ensure that the delivery of quality education. It is not only the effort of the teacher that he is putting his heart and soul into delivering the service, delivering the content, but the real education can only be imparted when there will be an active participation from the student, when there is a zeal to learn, then only a quality education can be delivered. In a similar way, if you go to, if you seek the help from a dietitian, then yes, your important active participation is required. You should consistently follow the recommended diet by your dietitian, and then only you will find there is a effect. Right? If the customer understand his role in service delivery better and play it significantly, result of service delivery will be effective as well as efficient. And when a customer will get a quality service, then it will always enhance their satisfaction. As in our discussion on the servo call scale and service quality, we have seen the connection. There is a link between the service quality and satisfaction. So, if as a service provider, if the customer is playing a very important role in creating the services, definitely the service quality will be a better one, and the good quality service or the excellent service quality will definitely leads to good customer satisfaction, or maybe tends to make a customer delighted. So this is the third role, the second role that play customer in the delivery. And whenever they will play a very important and active role in the service delivery, then what will happen? This will also result in reducing the gap 3 in the gap model, which is the performance gap. So service provider must provide a clear picture on how customer can ensure their own satisfaction and quality in delivery services. And coming to the last one, that is the customer as a competitor. It's a very new thing how a customer is also acting as a competitor. But my dear student, the customer can also act as a competitor for their service provider, because why a customer is hiring some of the services, and maybe it is the customer who know how to deliver that particular service, how to work on these services. Fine. When the customer are fully or partly involved in producing the services, they act as a competitor of the firm supplying the services. Just take an example. An individual who needs maintenance of his house can choose to perform service completely on his own, assuming that he has the required skill, can completely depend on somebody else to do maintenance or perform some of the tasks on his own, leaving other part for service provider. So he may not give the whole of service to the service provider, because he himself or knows that yes, I can do. So in that particular case, he is acting as a competitor to the firm, as he possesses the required skills and has the ability to access the quality of provided services. And these are things can be seen because they have a expertise capacity, they have certain resource, they have a time also. And if they are going to do the work by themselves, then they are going to save some money, so this will give them the economic reward. They have done something by their own with their best capacity and capability, so this will give some sort of their psychic reward, they will have some psychological boost also, they have their more trust on their job and their capabilities, and they have a better control. So therefore the customer who is acting as your competitor as well as. So it is quite clear that what is the three important or different role as a customer we can play. We can play as a role as a productive resource, we can act as a contributor to service quality and satisfaction, we can act as a competitor. Now understand that how this can be done. So before moving to this, let us understand what is the ultimate participation. Service produced entirely by the customer without any direct involvement or interaction with the firm employee. Maybe ATM. It is entirely by the customer. There is no direct involvement or interaction with the firm employee. Whenever we take the services of the ATM, so we never ever interact with the service personnel of the bank. Pay at the pump. If there is an automated payment system in the petrol pump, while doing internet banking, internet shopping, distance education, we are no more directly involved with the people or the professor or the salesman. If you see this, the service production continuum, it is explaining very well. There is a 6 point, so you can see it is increasing. Customer pump gas and pay at the pump with automation. Customer pump gas and get inside the pay attendant. Customer pays gas and attendant take payment at the pump. How you are seeing the involvement is reducing. Attendant pump gas and customer pay at the pump with automation. Attendant pump gas and customer goes inside the pay attendant. Attendant pump gas and attendant take payment at the pump. This is how you can see the house service production continuum. If you want to improve or involve their participation, then you should go for more automation. You should reduce the role of your employee and rather increase the role of your customer. Uh, there is some self-service technology that I have already discussed with you in case of McDonald, and you can go through it and see, understand there is certain key question when you go for STT, means what are your core strategy, what are the different kinds of benefit you can provide, and how can customer be motivated to try to SST, means you must give certain discounts when they are going for the self-service technologies. You should be technologically ready in order to deliver the services and so on and so forth. Fine. Now coming to the last leg of this presentation, that is the strategies for enhancing customer participation. So if you want to improve the customer participation, that there is a three clear-cut strategies. The first one is define customer job. Second, recruit, educate, reward customer. And third one is manage customer mix. Now, how you are going to define customer job? So first of all, you have to define the customer job. And this job can be determined because you know that the customer is also a co-creator in the service delivery. So it is very important to determine the level of participation required at customer end and his willingness to participate and contribute. If they are not willing, they are not ready to contribute, then you cannot involve them in service delivery processes. Fine. So these are the things that you have to guide. You should helping oneself, not only to yourself, you should know how to help others also, promoting the company, individual differences. Not everyone want to participate because there are so many customers that who want that they should be served rather than they should be part of that particular services. So there are different extreme, and some of the service may be completely dependent on customer for their creation and delivery, and some have their uh, partial involvement. Fine. So what are the thing can be done? Decision on level of customer participation required, whether it is a low, moderate or high. Identification and communication of a specific customer job. Clear understanding on customer participation and its implication on productivity and quality and their own satisfaction. The second comes recruit, educate, and reward customer. Now, what is the meaning of recruit, educate, and reward customer? Recruit the right customer. It means that you should have a right customer, means a customer with the right set of attitude, who is willing to play his role. It is very important to attract the right customer to fill in the expected role and responsibility for service delivery. The expected role should be clearly stated and communicated through advertisement, personal selling, and brand message of the firm. Right? So this is very much required for them. And then moving to the next point is that is the self-selection is very important because it enhances customer participation and result in enhanced perception of service quality by the customer. The second is to you have to educate and train customer to perform effectively. So when the customer is in your service premises, you should educate them and you should train them how to use technology, how to use different systems and processes and machinery there. And whenever the customer is participating in service delivery, then you should know the mechanism, how to reward them, what you should do in order so that they will deliver the right kind of services. And when they are actively involved in participating and delivering the services, then obviously they will not involve themselves in negative outcome. And you should educate them how to avoid the negative outcome in inappropriate customer participation. Fine. So what are the steps that you can take? That you should identify and recruit customer segment that are willing to participate in service creation and delivery. You should educate customer for their role and responsibility and reward them for their performance and effective service participation. And the last strategy is the managing customer mix. There is a different customer mix that you have to manage because the customer are not same. There's a different set of customer. They may not get the same set of customer at a specific point of a time. Different segment of customer with different need, with different characteristic are present in the service facilities. So you have to cater and rather you have to seek their cooperation and their uh, active involvement as far as your service delivery is concerned. Fine. Just going through these, what are the characteristic customer are in a close physical proximity to each other. There are verbal interaction take place among the customer. Customer are engaged in numerous and varied activities. The service environment attract a heterogeneous customer mix. The core service is compatible. Customer must occasionally wait for the services and customer are expected to share time, space or services, utensil, etc. each other. So these are the different types of customer mix that you can offer based on the different service. So my dear student, what we can conclude, what are the role of customer and service delivery is that we must have a thorough understanding the importance of customer in service delivery and identifying the role played by the customer in a particular context. A manager can develop strategies to enhance customer participation. And it is very, very important to involve your customer, because ultimately they are going to reduce the provider gap, that is gap number 3 in service distribution. So with this we have understood what is the active role of the customer in service creation and participation and delivery. What are the different strategies? This is Gopal Atwa signing off until we meet again.